so this is my screen recording for the extension from the original web page that we created. So this is the original web page that I created, and the extension to this and the link is going to be the frequently asked questions section, which I have right here. As you can see, you can either follow it with the backwards, forwards buttons, or from the home page, it links to the facts and back to the home page. So the original, one of the things that I kind of overcame in doing the frequently asked questions page was that in my original web page, I couldn't figure out how to put images in here. I tried several times and for some reason they weren't showing up. But then I realized when I was doing it here that I was just being super silly, and I didn't have the permissions set correctly for the images when I was putting them into the images folder to utilize. So yeah, I just went in here and I reset the permissions to show that they, how they could go in there. And that was really my only problem the first time. The other thing that I figured out, which was cool, is that I couldn't really figure out how to resize the photos, but then I kind of did I did some internet research and figured out that you can actually set the width and the height by pixels, and so you'll see that here in the images that I inserted, and this was also obviously the easiest way to make them all the same size. So before, some of them were bigger and some of them were larger, but in here I just set them all to be exactly the same, and so I thought that was pretty cool because it would have been much more complicated to attempt to resize them and put them in any other way. So that was something that I kind of learned this time. If we go to the actual page, basically what I have here is I split up the frequently asked questions into sections, where it's like the basics, like how do I purchase it, how does it work, the technical questions, does it come with a warranty, do I need Wi-Fi, that kind of thing, and then also just for fun things that my pet and I might want to know, like is it safe, and how can it help me. So in here, also on this page, rather than taking this get in touch section out, rather than taking this get in touch section out, which is also on the home page, I decided to keep it included on both pages because I thought that if I was actually using this web page, I would find it helpful to be able to find, the information to contact this company as often as possible. So rather than taking this out, I thought it was better to be reiterated on the page again here. In terms of actually working with it this time, I found that it was easier to work with the web page this time than it was last time, just probably because I wasn't trying to overcome all the original difficulties I had with having never designed a web page or done any code before, which was like doing all the technical stuff, like figuring out how FileZilla really worked and everything like that. This time, I had a little bit more comprehensive knowledge of that, so it wasn't quite as complicated. I did run into a couple glitches, which was sort of frustrating, which was again with the images. Somehow, when I originally went to go save one of the images that I wanted to use, I somehow saved over this coding that I was using to make the web page of the frequently asked questions section, which could have been fairly problematic, but I managed to figure that out and get it set back up again correctly. So really in here, like in the coding, the only thing that, again, that I got hung up on it all was just the images, but now that I've done it 6 or 7 times, I think I have a good idea of what I'm doing. So I think overall, this was a pretty successful try at this. I definitely know more than I did before, since I didn't know anything about how to do this before. And I feel pretty confident that I could do like really basic coding for, making a website. Beyond that, I think that was kind of my biggest takeaway from this, was that I, if ever, I really had no idea that I could do this. And now I kind of know that I can. So definitely had a kind of a huge learning curve on this, but God, what is going on? But mucked through it, figured it out, and I feel pretty good about what I came up with in the end. So I guess that pretty much concludes my screen recording.